That's who we love and that's who we serve. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is November 29th, 2022. And I hope the audio is coming through okay. I'm Alan C., and you got Johnnie J in the house, president and station manager of DBInnervisionFM. Welcome to the DBInnervisionFM universe.
Are y'all going to the movie?
Uh-huh.
Great. I'm Lolita, and this here's Tanqueray. Can we be your dates?
You mean like sit with us and stuff? Yeah, we're gonna score.
Hi everybody, this is the Godfather, Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. A little Beavis and Butthead.
It's got to be one of my favorite episodes ever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, how come you didn't close? Let's see. I said let me turn out. Okay. There you go. No, I guess not. Huh. Can you believe this? It's not going to stop. All right. Okay. All right. There you go.
The miracle.
Man, I had to cancel the whole thing. It said it wasn't going to stop. So I said, okay, I got to just take you out.
A miracle of modern technology. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Tuesday, November 29th. And we want to thank our sponsors, Christian Brothers Moving Company. We want to thank Denver Art Relief
Fun program. Yeah.
Program, something like that, and the Colorado Art Relief Fund. We've got Richard Damiano out of Littleton Eye Clinic, corneal consultant, also offering some cosmetic work. He's a real good friend of the station, and he has helped Johnnie J personally, as well as a number of other friends of ours. Who else we got here?
Wells Fargo.
Oh, yeah, can't forget Wells Fargo.
Yeah. And so we'd like to thank them all for really helping us and stuff. And hopefully the eeny, meeny, miny fund will come in. I hope this is not an indication of how it's going to be in the future, because I heard of like sometimes the government, they're kind of slow in getting your grants to you. And I hope this is not an indication of business as usual now that the pandemic is over.
Absolutely. The PPP loans have pretty much all but run their course. And so we do need your support and your help. The way that you can help us is visit InnervisionRecords.org. That's all one word. Innervision, INNER, visionrecords.org. And there's a bunch of different ways you can help us out. PayPal.me/InnervisionDenver. We got a Cash App tag also on there for, just in case our friends and benevolent overlords at PayPal decide that, perhaps. So anyway, we also do some donation. You can help us through YouTube directly, super chats and this kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. We do understand that this is the Christmas and holiday season, and so man, it's a rough time for everybody. We just want you to know we're here for you, and you're in our thoughts and you're in our prayers. Please keep us in your thoughts and prayers as well.
Yeah. And the day we're covering 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 9 through 14, as it continues to talk about widows that are are 60 and over, and the single widows, and the different personalities of these two types of women.
It's
For
actually
sure.
pretty cool. I was looking at, I was re-listening to the broadcast yesterday, as I often do.
Mhm.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, by the way, whatever platform you're on. Perhaps we kind of overstepped a little bit. YouTube was kind of submerging a few things.
Yeah, it is
Meh,
what it is.
is what it is. That's
Yeah.
right. It is what it is. So we are on Truth Social, Getter, MeWe,
Rumble.
Rumble, a few other different about 10 different other platforms. You can check out where we are on InnervisionFM.com. Apparently, did you get stuff squared with TuneIn?
Tune in. No, I was working on sending out the 5,000 emails. So
Oh,
that was one thing. I'm glad you remind me. I can get on that today.
yeah, I got
can
your
get-
email this morning. It looks really cool. What Johnny has started doing is helping folks that want to get into the business of being a DJ or start producing grassroots musicians, whether they're physically disabled or financially challenged or both. I guess you started like a little school. Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yep. Podcasting school for the blind and disabled. And then I looked over, I said, oh, I used to have this store. I forgot what it was called, the store. And I said, oh, that link for that store that I don't have is still in the email. I said, oh man.
Shopify?
Oh, Shopify, yeah. And I said, okay. So that so I did. It took so long to set that up yesterday because at first we couldn't get it to show up, and then we got it to show up, and then I bought a year membership, which I probably didn't have to do, but I went ahead and did that, and then and then I found out that because it's such a large increment, they sent them out 475 at a time.
Wow. Yeah, I got mine at 6 a.m. this morning, so it looks pretty cool. So don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. Just visit innervisionrecords.org. Info at innervisionfm.com is our email address. So if you have a topic that you want to have featured, let us know in the subject line and in the body. Just give us a little bit about your topic, and we'll see if we can have you featured on a upcoming broadcast. We got a lot of topics today. Where do you want to start today, Johnny?
Well, let's run down some of the topics. Now, one of our topics is: do you have $40 billion to pay off someone else's loan? so that, and then talking about another one about cost. How much does it cost to get out of sex trafficking? Right. And then the other one is Apple is threatening to take off Elon Musk's Twitter, and would you switch to another type of phone? I guess what's that phone called? The other type is Apple, and then
well, you got Android, and then
Android.
Google just come out with a Pixel 7, I believe, and a Pixel 7 Pro. The iPhone is experiencing, the newest iPhone, the 14 and the 14 Pro. Those are experiencing a few bugs here and there. And so there are some folks that are indeed switching to this Google Pixel 7. And camera is really cool. Looks like there's a lot of cool features, in Android, that kind of thing. So between Google and Android, they got things locked down. Elon Musk is also thinking about developing phones. So.
Yeah, I heard about that, and you got to be careful because we mailed out a iPhone 13, and somehow it magically got lost in the mail. So it's like, because we sent it over to Europe and stuff like that. So I don't know. You think people would be honest, but I guess not. They see something, they say, oh, and then they say, oh, they have it. Americans they're rich. And I should have I gave the person the wrong advice. I said, "Oh, you don't need to, buy the full insurance for the phone. It's going to get there." And we only bought it for like, I don't know, like $140, and we should have got it for the whole cost of the phone. Because I just couldn't imagine. Because I mean, we send stuff to Europe all the time, and nothing ever happens. I just couldn't imagine someone would say, "Oh, iPhone, a newest model. Hey, it's now my iPhone," and then it just disappears.
Wow.
It's like,
So we're going to cover that.
yeah,
Different things dealing with Elon Musk and his war with Apple and Apple's war with Twitter.
yeah,
And
water.
Sure, yeah, Texas.
Yeah, I've been to Texas in June, and the water was tasting bad then. So I'm not sure if Texas water was ever tasting good enough to drink.
So today's the second day that they're on a boil order for their water. What exactly happened yesterday that put them under the boil order?
They said the pressure went down in the treatment center, and so that caused the bad stuff to come up. And they said they said they would be working on it and get it back in order. Now they did say, I heard earlier in the news that now it's safe to bathe in the water, but you might still want to boil it if you want to drink it. So I don't know, man. I even when I went there in 1996, the water was so bad. Me and my mother, my brother and sister, we drove out there. My mother, we weren't old enough to drive, and we stopped by this chicken place. It was Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I used to like barbecue, right? So I said, let's get some barbecue system chicken. The most terrible barbecue chicken. I mean, it was just like water. Like, you know how if you cook something and you put barbecue sauce on it, it's supposed to stick to it.
Yeah.
Man, no. Oh man, and I got sick off of that stuff.
Man.
It's just Mexican. And I said, I remember it to this very day. Just the water was terrible, and I don't think it was bottled water back then. So I just ate a lot of fruit and drank a lot of Pepsi.
It's funny, when bottled water first hit the scene, I think Deep Rock had the monopoly on that, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And this in the late 70s, early 80s. And I remember my uncle taking a look at bottled water, and he says, "Oh, that's never going to catch on." Well, he wrong.
Oh yeah, you just never know, because you think like, selling water. I mean, we sell sugar water.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not sell water? So, it happens. But so you people down in Houston, Texas, we wish you well with that treatment center, and we hope that they get it back in line. But like I said, unless you guys are teetotalers, the water is really not that good anyway. And even the hotel I was at, they said, "Hey, you better get bottled water because the water is just not tasty." So that it is what it is down there in Texas. So so leave your comments in the comment line. Have you ever been to Houston, Texas, or have you ever been in any part of Texas and drank the water down there? And I guess there's a suit that's going on that on one of these army bases that some cancer-causing chemicals were in the water, and so they said if you got cancer or whatever, you're part of this class action suit. And I had to keep telling them, I said, I've never been there. I wasn't even alive in 1953. They keep wanting to get me in that class action suit. But I said, I'm not old enough to be there, but okay. So I just keep hitting delete.
Right. I get the same emails. If you were born between 1953 and 1971, you could be eligible for Camp Lejeune, blah, blah, blah. Water this, water that. And I'm like, well, no, I'm a little young for that one.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the Texas deal. Now let's go over. I saw the story. It was a top story. I guess some of the guys down in I I think it's called Vanilla Houston. It started with a V, down in Houston. I guess if you ever go into these places and then the ladies there to give you the manicures, they're from China, whatever, they give you a manicure on your feet and stuff like that. And I guess there's a lot of trafficking. And so what happens is, I read the story, was these coyotes, they would, these poor women would say, hey, I want to get out of this country. I want to go to America. And say, oh, we'll get you there. And so once they get here, they take their passports and they said, okay, in order for you to pay for us getting you here, you're going to have to do, this, and this. Right? And this lady was saying that it takes about 5 to 13 years to pay these coyotes off. And sometimes they might sell you to another coyote group, and then it starts over again. And they have these women like living in a house of like 15. And I think, we saw this TV show where they were showing like all these women in this one place, and this one lady, she was the head leader of it because she kept them in control. And I think these were mostly like Hispanic women. There might have been some Asian as well. So Texas, and then I found out that Texas is the first place to make this kind of selling of people a felony. All right. And I said,
that Greg is stepping forward to get this done, because trafficking of the S nature, sexual trafficking and that kind of thing, that needs to come to a stop. Our children are definitely in danger. So I'm glad that Greg Abbott is taking a strong stance on that, as well as the other good folks in Texas, and just wanting to put a stop to it. Big thing that is also taking place is the boats on the border there, and the National Guard in Texas being called out to just pretty much try to do what they can to ensure that the border is indeed closed. About a year ago, we had Border Patrol. Actually, probably a year and a half ago now, we had actually done a show on this, folks. So take a look in, let's see, July.
The history?
Yeah. And we did a show on what allegedly was taking place, where Border Patrol were whipping they
claim they were whipping them, but it turned out that we are fake news.
Yep, exactly.
And the guy, he knew it. Or was it Mayorkas? He knew it was fake, and he still came out with it.
Mayorkas was still pushing that, saying that there were going to be investigations. Totally demoralized the Border Patrol. So keep them in your prayers, folks, because these folks are doing a good job of keeping our borders secure and making sure that those that do come in are supposed to be here. Although we have had to date, some would even say 2-3 million people, sometimes upwards of 5 or 6 million people. We just don't know. Know.
Yeah. So it's an ongoing thing going, and they describe like the under 18 trafficking, as well as the above. And I guess the policemen and the detectives are doing a lot of undercover work, because they're finding like, this group moves from this place to this place, because they try to keep moving like the different fashions around. And so I don't know, because they got this one letter. I guess this lady, she wrote her daughter and said, pretty much she was saying like, maybe think twice, it may be hard where we came from, but you don't want to be involved with this. So they translated it, and it was just a letter to the daughter talking about that. Oh, by the way, this is not in our menu. I was up late last night, and on the BBC, I only listen to them when they're not talking about climate change and silly stuff like that. But last night they had this guy that he made a movie. This lady had wrote a book, and it was about the 18th century. And this girl, 11-year-old girl, she was doing a water fast since her 11th birthday, and she was 4 months in. So they hired this nurse to come down, and the lady said, "Well, do you want me to force her to eat?" And they said, "No, no, 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 no. We just want you to be here to make sure that she survived this water fast." They didn't call it water fasting. I know it wasn't dry fasting, but anyway, they didn't mention water fasting. And I guess, but in order to see it, I got to go to Netflix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my daughter use her because Netflix, they donate 90% to Democratic stuff, but my daughter has it, so I said, okay, I'll just use hers. And just a really interesting movie. And then the I don't know if you heard of the movie ABBA.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the guy who made most of their videos, he was on the same kind of show, and he was making movies as well. He says he doesn't like to make commercial movies or big stars. He made a movie about this lady who was a painter, and she was taking this criticism of this guy so harshly that she didn't show this work of art that her and the other ladies were putting together. And she said, no, they should show it after I die. And so that's what happened. She died. They tried to show it in 1967, and it didn't work out. And then they finally started showing it in 1987, and now they showed it in, I guess, 2013. And now she's known worldwide, but she just had this instinct that, no, I don't want these pictures to be displayed until after I died. So some very good movies. I gotta check. I like these artsy movies, so I'm gonna definitely check those out. But I wouldn't have known about it if I hadn't been listening to the BBC in the middle of the night, kind of thing.
Well, I got to tell you, Johnny, I'm a different bird. If it's not a face movie or it doesn't have fart jokes in it, I don't watch.
Oh man, well, you never know. These ladies, it was back in the day. But yeah, so if you get a chance, I think it was called Wonder. The movie's called Wonder, and I had to write it down because I said I'm gonna forget the name of this movie because I'm gonna go up to other news stories and stuff like that. But it's called Wonder. It's been shown on Netflix, and borrow somebody's Netflix or whatever and use it, all that kind of stuff. But just a recommendation on a movie that I thought they were doing a lot of movie. They were doing the Spielberg trilogies on what was those movies that he did? Well, he did Schindler's List, and then he did all these other trilogies of this one movie, and a lot of stuff I didn't even know. So I'm thinking like I'm going to rent some of those movies anyway. Now let's get to Elon Musk and Twitter.
Well, we did bring up obviously that Apple and Twitter are kind of at odds. There is a push for free speech, and so a lot of folks that are being let onto Twitter, especially starting next week, there's going to be sort of an amnesty type thing going where folks that haven't been on for the last 2 or 3 years will be allowed to get back on. That has really made some of the folks on the left kind of melt a little bit. Yeah. They just made them crazy.
Yeah. So did you also hear that he's going to look under the hood and see who in the government started some of this submerging freedom of speech? And that's really making him crazy because now he's saying, okay, you're the Wizard of Oz, so we're going to look behind the curtain and see who you really are.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff dealing with Hunter and Dr. Foxy, all kinds of crazy stuff that could come out and, really open some eyes. And, the bottom line, folks, is this. We're all human beings. We all have 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 brain, 1 heart. And the idea being that once people start realizing, hey, we're united under poverty, wow, it's going to be a real big eye opener, especially for folks on the left, because some of this stuff they haven't even heard of. So be kind. If you're on the right, be gentle with your family and your friends that may not know, and as they awaken, as if they had a cold cup of water dumped on their head.
Oh yeah.
Just be gentle, be kind, and educate.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying Twitter. I didn't used to enjoy it when it was under the left wing, but now that Musk is taken over, I'm able to see a lot more people that I wouldn't normally see, and then I can go back and forth and sometimes get into a friendly tussle with them, and it's a lot more interesting when it's not like a cesspool of everybody that agrees with you. Yeah, but you say, okay, have you looked at it this way? Have you looked at it this way? And so it's kind of cool going back and forth in that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
I had a similar type of situation happen yesterday where I was talking with a gentleman and I says, oh, we got to get involved at the local, state, federal levels. And he's like, well, what do you mean? We don't need 1 million politicians. And I says, well, we don't. We don't need 1 million politicians, but we do need all 350 million people who think of themselves as American to unite, to stand up for the freedom and the liberties which our founders and framers had tried to enshrine with the United States Constitution. So I had to explain, I think we're both looking for the same things. We still want the restoration of our constitutional republic if we can have it. The guy did bring up a good point. He says, it's never going to be the same. But I would submit that, in a way, he might be right. I mean, we'll never be the same as a country, but we can build upon the mistakes that we've made, because it's important that we remember our past so that we don't repeat it. But more importantly, as long as we unite under things that make us human, the things that make us American, for those of us that live here, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay.
Now, speaking of the people who may not be okay, because $40 billion is the bill that this bandito Biden has passed on to not only us, but to our grandkids. He's spending money like a drunken sailor. And so he's saying like, hey, as you know, that as he put it off for another 60 days, the student repaying, waiting for the Supreme Court, which should probably be in session around June of 2023. And for every time that they put up, the interest cost goes up and up. I think it's like $5 million a month or so for that, and it's going to add up and keep adding up. So, I don't have, as a taxpayer, these kids took out that loan, and I think, they should, get 2-3 jobs and pay back. Because my friend Wayne, I was so proud of him. He went to Long Beach school, and he's a blind guy, and he worked, I think, about 2-3 jobs until he got his loan paid off. And I said, hey man, I got to salute you, man. It's like, gee. So if a blind person can do it, I know you sighted guys, can do it, because you have a few more options of jobs that you can obtain to pay that bill down. And I like was it Dave Ramsey? He has a book says like first steps, second steps, and if you need some help in knowing how to pay off your debt, go to the Ramsey Lewis Dave Ramsey show, and he has some books there, which I'm going to get some, send it to my grandkids and my daughter for Christmas, because it's some very good books. On
I was doing a little bit of math really quick, and I'm I'm pretty tired. I was in a lot of pain. Hey folks, we got 3 inches of snow up here in Greeley, Colorado. 60.
Oh, it's snowed up there too. Wow.
Oh yeah, what'd you guys get?
Well, you guys, I'm not wearing my Innervision shirt. I'm wearing my blue sweater today, and the wind is it's a little chilly, even though I got the heat behind me. But it's still chilly out there. So I think we got about. Well, let me check. How much snow did we get? Let's see. Yes, it does to be. Siri says yes. It does appear to be snowing. All right, Watson. Okay, so I guess
anyway,
it is.
so I'm rather tired, but I was doing some figures, and so if you take $40 billion and divide that by the population of America between the ages of say 18 to 65, which let's just call that 320 million folks who happen to be indigenous to this country or born here, this kind of thing. For now we'll leave out the newcomer friends of ours that have come, but wow, $40 billion divided by 320 million. Let's just put a figure on that. Golly, I mean, each one of us would have to come up with a mean figure of well over. No, that can't be right. Wow. What does your series say? Because I just can't wrap my head around that figure right now.
Okay, now what would we ask them to divide?
Divide 40 billion by 350 or 320 million, let's just say.
Okay. 40 billion divided by 330
million. Yeah,
million.
do that, yeah. That is going to work out to be
121.212.
Yeah. So that wow. I mean, each one of us has to come up with, and this is just a, kind of scratch paper kind of figure. Each one of us has to come up with $121 and some change, or is that right?
No. What? It's probably. Hold on. 121.212. 121. But that sounds like $122.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound. That's
Okay.
kind of
So you say 320 million, right?
right.
Okay, let me do that. Okay, 40 billion divided into 320 million. Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh man, now they want me to go to the website and say, check it out.
Well, anyway, folks, this is a incredible figure that we're going to all have to come up with on a basis of a president with the stroke of a pen deciding to go ahead and basically write these loans off, and Congress is supposed to hold the power of the purse.
Yeah.
A lot of folks don't know this because, obviously civics aren't taught in the schools these days. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you look historically, Congress is supposed to have the controlling power of the purse. The executive branch is only supposed to execute what the legislators decide. And of course, then that obviously brings us to that legislative branch. Holy crow, somebody is blowing my phone up. But anyway, so, the 3 branches of the federal government are supposed to be co-equal. And lately, executive orders just been flying out the White House. And I'll tell you, folks, let's go, Brandon.
This is true. This is crazy. Yeah. Well, and leave your comments down there as well, and if you could do math better, like leave the math compilation down there too, because that'd be kind of cool to see that either in Facebook or YouTube or D Live or Rumble or any one of those platforms. So anyway, that's kind of interesting to see what that number, but I know it must be a lot for all of us to pay off, or our grandkids to pay off. Like,
speaking of numbers, and we sort of touched on this and this kind of thing, but with the trafficking that's going on, there are some ways to go ahead and get that stopped. There's a toll-free number as well as a text.
Oh yeah, you want me to give that, or do you have it?
I don't, because I'm not anywhere near my desktop.
Okay, let me get that. Yeah. Okay, if you know someone is being trafficked and you can do this totally anonymous, you can call it's a 1-888-373 and then 7088. Now let me give that again. Okay, 888-373-7088. You can call that number and leave a tip, or you can text 233-733, and you can say, you could text and indicate that someone's been trafficked. So yeah, I'm glad you remind me of that. That's something very good to give out.
Yeah, folks, I mean, the bottom line here is women hold the power of creation. Women are to be held in regard because of the fact that they alone are able to, at least in our view, have children. Obviously, the world has kind of gone crazy, and I guess men can apparently become pregnant, like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Twins. But certainly, let's be really real, folks. And women are the ones that hold the power of creation. So the big thing is, let not the widow be taken into the number under 80 years old, having been the wife of one man. So basically, we're looking at taking care of the woman as she gets older.
Let her be faithful to her husband.
Yep.
Be known by the community. So she, we're not gonna just take a word like, "Hey, I haven't did this," and let her have raised her children in an honorable way. So there's some qualifications there.
Yep, and if she lodges strangers, basically, if she puts people up, if she has, it talks about washing the saints' feet. That used to be a really big practice back in the day because shoes were sort of in short supply. So the feet got dirty, and after doing a bunch of walking and that kind of thing, it got kind of anyway. So basically, it's putting others first and serving them and that kind of thing. Where was I here? The bottom line being is women are to be held in higher regard.
You were probably at verse 11, I think.
Oh, okay. But the younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax wanton against Christ, they will marry, having damnation because they have cast off their first faith. I don't know, man. I mean, there's different translations out there. Listen's a little bit. What do you get out of that?
Hardcore, yeah. It would say like when the sensual desires overcome them and they want to, go and get married again. And some of them have, gone off and just married anyone. As I guess that's what it's saying. But then Paul comes back and says, well, they would do good if they, get married again, raise the children, manage the house, and this will be their saving grace. And we're like I said, we're talking about a different time, because at the time the government, as it is today, didn't fool women and convincing them that you want what your neighbor has, so you work 2 jobs and taking care of children is not that important, and it's like a different time now.
Well, but it does definitely have some root in grounding and foundation, because when we get to verse 13, it talks about and with also they learn to be idle, wandering out
Busybodies.
from house to house, being kind of gossipers.
I know a lady like that. I knew a lady back in the day like that, 23 years old, and man, she could stay on the phone all day, and her son, he just was on his own.
Well, not only are they idle, but they're also tattlers. Busybodies, as you say, speaking things which they ought not. I mean, what sort of enjoyment does people get out of talking schmack?
Yeah.
And that's really prevalent, especially these days where you've got social media. I'm not a widow, obviously, and I'm not a woman, but I find myself sometimes wanting to get pulled into that. And nope, do I really need to make a comment? Do I really need to look at that thing? No, I really don't. So, it's instead of being pulled away from a focus of doing good things, putting good things into the mind, sometimes, even I will get to a place where it's garbage in, garbage out, and I've got to clean that stuff out and ask God to really jump on in there. Sometimes women will find themselves even more plagued by being gossipers, tattlers, running around, being just idle, going from house to house, as we were talking about, and just stirring up trouble, basically. So the younger women are supposed to marry and bear children and guide the household and give absolutely no occasion to the adversary to speak,
about it.
To basically blame and to speak reproachfully.
Yeah. So, like I said, this was written a while back before we got corrupted by different governments and another agenda, came aboard. But anyway, leave your comments. We'd love to hear your comments down there below. And I guess we're going to call it a day.
Gentlemen and ladies, we do want to thank you for joining us today at the Innervision FM Universe podcast. And tomorrow we're going to have some really cool topics for you. So join us for that. Same bat time,